Alright, this isn't a road blog, it's a ferry blog. I'm taking the Bridgeport ferry from Long Island to Connecticut, and I got a front row seat. So, I've just had 3 great days in New York, was in the Bronx for a day, and then on Long Island for a couple days. And what I've noticed in this trip is, I have different levels of students based upon how long they've been dedicated to applying the technique. And what's been really fun is seeing the difference in the different work that gets done in each of our lessons. So it seems like this: the students that have been focused on applying the technique and using their forward side and working on being closed and working on being still, it's about 5 to 6 months before they really get a solid control over being able to do it. And consequently, when I'm showing up, we're not working so much on technique. They can kind of take technique for granted. It's just some subtle stuff that we're working on with technique. But instead, what we get to work on is things like building their yardage card, working on trajectory, working on the specific shots that they can use in their short game. Now, the people that are newer to the technique, we have to focus on the foundational things, which is great. It's all about developing stillness in the setup position and getting on the same page and understanding how the ball flight is a direct representation of what you did during the swing. But the difference is what's really fun to watch, because this is something I always say. There comes a point where you could take the swing for granted, and you're going to hit more good shots than you do bad shots. And so because you can take the technique for granted, we start to build other facets to your game. We start to add shots to your bag, like building the yardage card, like focusing on trajectory, like focusing on things like your mental attitude and how you see the game. And so that just, I think, is a really powerful thing for all of y'all that are just in the first couple months of working on it. Know that soon, if you just continue to dedicate to the technique, very soon you're going to get this freedom where you could take the swing for granted and you could start to focus on things like building very specific shots, hitting fades, hitting controlled trajectories. And the yardage card is so important. I can't tell you how important it is to have a yardage card. And really, that's just a product of putting in the work and the time to get to a place where you understand that the setup, all roads lead to stillness, and the stillness is where, and the setup is where stillness is created. So for those of you who haven't developed the technique entirely, just remember, you are not far off from getting to a place where you could take the swing for granted. Ferry blog.